All right. Hello, 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 and welcome to Shared Space with Quida and Chap. And we are continuing Black Women's History Month because that's what I've named it, and that's what we're going to keep going with. So, hey, hi, hello, folks. I am Laquita Chansey, the founder and director of Baltimore Homes, and we build micro shelters and tiny homes for folks who are unhoused. And in the meantime, if that's not your jam, we will do whatever happens in between because housing is everything. And Chapo, my brother from another mother, go ahead and introduce yourself. What you up to?
How are you guys? So welcome everybody who's viewing, or if you're coming back to watch the review, thank you guys for checking in. I'm Chaplain David Lovelace, full-time volunteer chaplain for Baltimore City, aka Chap. And like Quita said, we stand in the gap for any and all needs in the community. Um, I think we have some announcements coming up. We have Boss Man is watching the show. Watch out, we better stay on point. No, thank you, Donnie, for giving us this platform to empower and share the mic with people in the community like our guests today. Um, so real quick, Quita, we have a event starting on April 2nd. Yes.
Yes, we are back at Lake Montebello doing our wellness walk, walking with the doc. So we'll be out there. You'll get your light breakfast. We'll do some stretching, some mindfulness, walk around the lake. We're not going to walk near that sinkhole, y'all. We know it's a sinkhole, but we're going to maneuver, all right? It's big. We will see it. Just come out and community with us. And yeah, so we're back. And this is what our third, I want to say our third or fourth, third, I can't count, but we've been doing this for either 3 or 4 years, and it has been just amazing because it went from just a small little pilot of a couple of folks, maybe 20, 30 folks, and now I know we've seen like over 500 people through Walk with the Doc Baltimore. So yeah, we're back at it, y'all. Come out Sunday, 9:30. We used to meet at 9, but we're meeting at 9:30 because y'all folks like to roll all in. And at 10, we are leaving sharply, promptly. Okay. We're not playing with y'all. We're not waiting. You're going to have to run and catch up or wait for us to get a sinkhole or something. I don't know. But that's what we're going to be doing. What else we got going on, chat?
Look, I'm just gonna self shamelessly pitch here real quick, guys, out in our viewership and our guests, man. Just keep me in your prayers. I got a gig, a speaking role out in L.A. We know about that one. So a friend of ours, Monique, known as Monique, she made it public that she signed a contract with Lifetime Movie Network, and I am so proud of her. But I'm also trying to get a speaking role in the movie. So let's let's go, Monique. And then also Ridley Scott's filming up in Philly right now, a crime drama that I have the opportunity to possibly get a principal role on. So those are game changers for me, and game changers me are game changers for our community. Because Quito will tell you, like, if I'm doing good, everybody's doing good. So appreciate your thoughts and prayers on that. But on to our guests. That is why we're here tonight. So without any further ado, Miss Dominique Steiger, if you can introduce yourself, and then Miss Asia.
Sure. Thank you, Chap. Thank you, Q, for first of all inviting me to this platform. It's a mini reunion for us, right? Because I met you too at different stages in life, way back then, exactly, way back then. So, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Dominique Steiger. I am the owner of Leap Strategic Partners, a virtual assistance agency. And with that, I'll pass it on to Asia.
Hi everyone. So it's pronounced Aja, and it's perfectly okay. I get it all the time, so I'm used to it. No worries,
Sorry.
no worries, no worries. Yeah, and thank you all for having me. I'm super excited to be here as well. You all will see me looking all different ways because I have a million monitors and cameras everywhere. So, but I promise you, I'm listening to every last one of you with the deepest depths of my spirit. I promise. I am the owner of Digital Line Consulting. We're headquartered in the Washington, D.C. metro area. I currently live in Dallas, and we have a satellite office here in Dallas as well. The core of my company is to redefine a world of inclusive and human-centered digital innovation. And so what we do is we work with underrepresented business communities in order to help them with digital strategy. And so that can span the spectrum, and often does span the spectrum of digital. What we're really trying to do is find the epicenter for where organizations within these communities, largely Black and Brown-led organizations, can leverage technology, but also the strategy necessary to be able to advance and be competitive and all those things. Often we hear a lot of buzzwords around that, but we're really trying to get to the nitty-gritty of what that looks like for each respective organization. So that's what we do, and I'm really excited to be here and to talk with you all.
I love it. I love it because it ties into everything, like the digital equity aspect of it all from both Dominique's side and your side. Like the thing is, we can't have virtual assistants if we're not digitally connected. And that goes into electrification and the access to wires and all of it. So let's start with where did you find yourself when you started your company? Because a lot of us, right, like we were working in a different job, we went through some sort of experience, or we saw somebody doing something. Where were you when you started your company, and what triggered that? Let's start with you, Aja.
Yeah, you know what? The layoffs, they affected everybody even before recent tech layoffs during the pandemic, all those things. But even before that, I was, kind of doing digital related work in the marketing space for family and friends as like a side hustle type of thing. And I think, the past 5 to 10 years, everybody and their mom had a side hustle, right? So it's just kind of like a common, a common thing to do. But I think I've always had an eye and a passion for entrepreneurship, but definitely more so in just advocating for creating Black wealth, right? And so I've always had a heart for entrepreneurship, but it started as a kind of a hobby, and then it translated into, okay, let me get paid for this hobby, and then like a part-time solopreneur digital marketing thing, right? But then the pandemic hit, and that created an entire snowball effect that affected largely Black-owned businesses, right? And so
Right.
I'm sitting back thinking, how in the world can I really make impact? Because digital marketing really isn't, it's not all of what's cutting it for what my vision was, right? It's certainly beneficial. It's needed. It's a huge opportunity for a lot of folks in the digital entrepreneurship space, selling clothes, retail, e-commerce, all those things, right? But it didn't really fit what the broader vision was, which was for me, not just building community among Black talent, but also providing opportunity for Black talent to be able to use their skill sets to be innovative, to do that within obviously a Black-owned, woman-owned organization, but also to do it in a way that advances our business communities, right? So that they're able to last, they're able to sustain in really imaginative ways. And I really believe that digital is the best way to be able to do that and kind of equalize the playing field in a lot of ways. And so essentially the pandemic just put a magnifying glass on what all that looked like. And yeah, that's it's kind of started from a hobby side hustle thing, and then I was able to incorporate just before the pandemic became a huge issue. And I guess because everybody worked from home and I'm remote based, it created opportunity for us where there was unfortunately challenges for other organizations. And we're growing and steadily looking for funding for anybody viewing out there. Just saying. And we're continuing within that same mission and vision.
Chap, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to comment on building the wealth part, because honestly, a lot of what motivates me, once I've been doing the background acting for a while, and once I started seeing like the ridiculous amount of money they dump into film and stuff, going after that money, part of my motivation is redistributing the wealth. And the digital space has like really levels the playing field as long as our people have access and digital equity. So, but I think it's a key to redistributing the wealth is the digital space. So I just wanted to comment on that.
Absolutely, especially in a city where, in like Baltimore, where transportation is not the best, public transportation that is. And 90% of the jobs that have the best pay are outside of the city. So if you don't drive, it confines you to these low paying jobs. But if you don't drive, and you're digitally connected, you're no longer facing that barrier of traveling. So thank you for what you do. Now, Dom, let's get into your journey. How did you find yourself where you are now? Because when you and I met lifetimes ago, like, I'm not going to even get into that. Let's just talk about
Yeah,
today.
you're
Go
aging
ahead.
us now. You're telling our age now, right? Yeah. It came from a place of pain for me, right? I thought I had landed at my dream job in 2016. And I mean, everything, the salary I was looking for, the office I was looking for, everything I wanted. I was working overtime. I was working long nights. I was taking on extra projects, right? I was just doing all of the things. Chap, did you want to say something on
Yeah, what
that?
was the dream job? I
Oh
think
my
you worked for
goodness.
Sinclair, right?
So I held a job. Yep. There, I held a job there, and unfortunately, when we put our all into a job, something that doesn't belong to us, it was a humbling experience for me, y'all. Let me tell you, because my ego grew because I was getting the salary, the six figures and all of that, all the things that people go for, right, honey? When they came in my office and told me, Dom, these are the things that you're not doing right, I never been written up a day in my life, y'all, right? Came in my office with a list of days and times of things that I did not do right in their eyes, right? And when I looked at the paper closer, I said, oh, is that my mentor? Is that my mentor that was documenting all of this stuff? And so from there, I went through a lot of, right. That is traumatic. That's in the traumatic event, because it was like a relationship. You're like, oh, I thought we went together. I thought we were good. And then, right. And then find out like, oh, okay, well, you actually, maybe you don't like me as much as I like you. And that's the thing we got to remember with jobs is your job will never love you as much as you love it. Keep that in mind. And so with that, I started talking to people like, hey, I'm sharing my experience, right? Because I help organizations make millions of dollars. And that was that was my thing, like millions. And to then be turned around and say, okay, you're not performing. I started talking to other people. Are y'all going through this? Because I feel like I'm the only one. Other people, yeah, I feel like there has to be more to life. So I had that conversation in November 2019, y'all. 2020 in February, I said, you know what? I'm going to throw an event in Baltimore for business owners, other people who have visions of starting a business, or maybe they want to grow their business. I did it for free. And we got a group of people together who share their visions. We did vision boards. I had other entrepreneurs come and talk. And so that was the idea of Leap. I did it Leap Day 2020. And then bam, what happened? The pandemic. Pandemic slowed everything down, right? I was still trying to push, but it was like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. We got to pause. So fast forward to 2023, here I am. My business model has pivoted. Why? Because I've been working with business owners, right? I wanted people to launch the business from folks that maybe had the pain that I had of working hard and losing your health and everything. I wanted people to not only start businesses, but be able to continue growing your business successfully. And so as a virtual assistant agency, we provide services, everything from digital marketing, right, Aja? So you understand that world. Email. I've helped do events. I've helped my clients also with course evaluation. One of my corporate clients is actually rolling out an event for not an event, a class where it's led by MIT professors. So I've been able to help in that way. And so I literally now I'm like, okay, for folks who experience pain, started the business, want to continue growing and expanding the business, how can I help you? How can I serve you? Because the reality is business owners are burned out, period. And what's happening? They are starting these jobs and they're walking away from their dreams once the business gets overwhelming. And my thing is, do not walk away from that dream. What is it that you need to do to continue serving the people you want to serve? Because I strictly work with businesses that want to do good in the community, who want to work and make lives better for other people. And so I don't want people to give up on those missions and those visions to serve other people. How can I serve you, business owner, to help you continue thriving? So it came from a place of pain, and it grew into something that is of service to people who are continuing to serve other people. So that's just a little bit of my story.
Man, I want to comment on that too because we're in the community realm, and you will never, ever, 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 ever in Baltimore run out of community organizations that get burnt out from doing the work because of the politics in the city. My own partner with PowerFest, kind of not to throw him out there, but kind of threw in the towel because we did a huge event at the Inner Harbor. The police department and government, City Hall asked us to do an event, and then turned around and tried to shut us down the week of, after they asked us to organize a whole event. And it's like that's a kind of like standard operating procedures we go through in the community. Trying to meet the community's needs, we often butt heads or go against City Hall. We're often getting shut down by City Hall for doing the work they're supposed to be doing, and we get burnt out so quick. So I appreciate someone like you who can come in and stand in and help support, because like you said, like we do get, especially in the community and the nonprofit realm in Baltimore, we get burnt out because like we feel like we're the only ones. We feel like, why isn't the city supporting the work since we're doing their job? So it's really important to have allies like you in our corner to keep things going, because we get burnt out, but the community is the one that really suffers.
Exactly. And so recognizing the areas where you are getting burned out, right? Chap, I know you do a lot of, you're really hands-on with your people. And so you're out doing the work. But here's the thing, guys, business operations still have to happen. Who is back at the office handling that stuff? A lot of times business owners are like, I can't, they freeze. And so, yeah, absolutely. That is why I created Leap, so that you don't freeze. Lean on someone like me, lean on my agency to help you further that mission.
I love though that you started with the vision board. Like that's something that people understand. You did it on Leap Day. Like all those little nuggets are just like adorable and just, support the story, but it just makes it that much more like, oh yeah, that Leap organization started on, Leap Day. I'm not gonna forget that name. It's Leap Strategies, it's Leap something. Google it. I'm sure you're Googleable, right? Like we're gonna figure that out. So I love that. All right. So now that we know how you got where you are today, what would you tell someone who wants to get into your industry or work with you, like both things? If someone wanted to get into your industry, how would they start to do the research? What would be the best way to get acclimated? And then if someone wants to work with you, like what are the digits? What's the website? Give us the contact information. We're gonna double back to that, but let's make sure we get it in now too. I'm sorry. Yep, you came off mute first. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, first, we're in the space of digital innovation, right? And that can really start from anywhere and anybody. We're true advocates of that. We're also in the space of community building. And so for us, that looks like bridging a lot of talent across the African diaspora, for example. So folks in the UK, Ghana, and so forth, we work with intentionally, recognizing, number one, that talent is usually underutilized. It's also very much present. It's just, again, under-recognized. And so I'm saying that to say I'm intentional about working with folks, Black and brown innovators. And an innovator can be literally anybody, folks. You just need to have the passion and the foresight to be able to, think in ways that are different, right? Or appreciate ways of thinking that are different. So I'd say the first thing I would say for anyone who is growing in their business, who is a student, who is in a rising business, whatever that looks like, always know that you can be in the space of innovation. And in order for that to be successful, you need to surround yourself in thinking the same thing about the people you work with, right? It does not matter. I don't care your credentials. I don't care your education level. I don't care your experience level. Everybody is an innovator and can be in that innovative space. They just need to be empowered to be able to do so. And so the work that we do is very much so human-centered, but also in the space of being able to think outside the box. So yeah, saying that to say whatever you're interested in, whatever you have passion for, just think in those terms, right? And the impossible is possible in a lot of ways. And I'm sorry, Laquita, can you repeat your second question?
Yeah, okay, so for me, example, so this is perfect. Thank you for giving me that break because in my mind, right, I work in community. If Baltimore Homes was like, hey, Aja, like I saw you on shared space and I want to talk to you. My jam is social impact and I'm building these houses. How can I digitize my community? One of the things I've been thinking about are electric vehicles, community Wi-Fi. Um, we'll start there. Are those things that you would be able to help somebody like me, hypothetically speaking, but I'm probably going to hit you up this week kind of thing?
Yeah, good question. Good question. So, okay, I'll frame it like this. I think a lot of folks tend to instinctively come with me first with coming from a place of digital. It's usually in the frame of digital marketing, which is fair because again, that is what is closest to you as far as proximity and proficiency in knowledge and technology and so forth. And we also recognize there's usually a capital investment deficiency for a lot of folks with whom we're trying to serve. So we work within that, but I would say just start, again, the human center aspect. And I know, Laquita, from working with Dent, you're familiar with this. Just start with, okay, what is it that you're trying to do for the community? What is their experience? What does that experience look like for your internal organization, for yourself as people who do the work on a daily basis, but also for the people that you're trying to impact? And that goes across any industry, everything, right? Ultimately, you're doing work to achieve something and to impact someone. So start there. The digital and technology aspects will come into play when we're talking about what's feasible where you are right now as an organization. And if there's funding coming in or you have the respective budget, we can talk through what technology needs to be involved in order to create the digital infrastructure necessary for whatever the intended project is. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is understand how can we impact or have greater impact for the people that you serve, right? And the digital infrastructure, that digital business model will then come into play, or it will be more visible once we define that initial vision. So just come to me and let me know, hey, what is it that you're trying to achieve, right? And then we can we'll work through together through what we call discovery to then map out what's possible for you. And it could be, honestly, it could be a lot simpler than a lot of folks think. There might be a problem on one side that can be fixed overnight with just a quick digital funnel, for example.
Okay.
Just to give you a quick example, we did a micro funding campaign for a small nonprofit in DC that helped them raise a little bit over $5,000 in less than a month, right? And that was just a quick digital business model, right? Micro level, but still very much so beneficial, So again, that example just shows the level of innovation possible when you just put your minds together and you center human beings and what they really need. Because that a little over $5,000 was able to feed over 300 people, right? So, yeah, there's a lot of beautiful opportunity there. Just think in terms of human beings when you hear digital strategy, and then the technology with strategy overarching. And so that's what I would recommend that people think in those terms. And as far as reaching out to me, digitalline.com. I'm very prevalent on LinkedIn. My name, you can search me on LinkedIn as well as aallen@digitalline.com is my email address. And yeah, I'm open to having conversations. And I'm also, some people tend to not do this or caution against it, but I love helping people and just telling you all the stuff. So if you have questions, just ask. I'm going to reveal the secrets. And no, I'm not going to charge you. Like, just ask me questions and I'll give you the nuggets. Because
ain't no gatekeeping. That's not what we about.
Not interested. I want everybody to thrive, and so whatever you need to know, just ask and I'll tell you.
I love that, and I love you. Go ahead, Chap.
Real quick for people that are that are still tuned in, man. I think it's important to point out, like, so Quida does like the brunch pitch, right? Quida gives you access to like coaching and getting your business started. And a lot of us, a lot of us don't have a problem getting started. It's once we get started neck deep in work, what do we do now? Because now it seems like we're stuck just like doing the work. And so I appreciate that. If you're watching, our two guests, what they do is they keep you running, right? Is what I'm hearing. Like you guys use the digital tools and you guys use your skill set to perpetuate the work, but broaden it, grow it. Not just keep it going, but like elevate it. So if anybody's watching, just catching you guys up is that our guests today, like they offer services that will do some virtual assistant. They'll do some campaigning for you to raise funds. They'll use their toolkit and their strategies to help your business grow so that you can focus on the work. So no, I appreciate what I'm hearing. And for everyone, because we have such a huge swing towards entrepreneurship, even in the colleges and schools now, people are. Our guest on April 10th is a young lady who she's a chemist. She noticed that all the lab coats and stuff, her business is going to be Department of Defense apparel, right? And she noticed that a lot of the lab coats that they wear are actually just a lab coat. It doesn't protect them from the chemicals they're using. They're also very boring and plain and white. And so she has this great idea that she already has started her business. We want to connect her with you guys so that you guys can keep her vision going over a long process, and not just stopping at the front door selling and shutting down shop, right? You want to keep continuing to grow her business. So I look forward to connecting with her. But just to put in context, what you guys are offering is not just a chance to get your business started, but to maintain it, to build a legacy, to build wealth. And like I said, like we need to redistribute the wealth, man. And you guys offer that opportunity for each and every person that comes to your door, checks your website, the opportunity to do that. So thank you.
Right. So all of that, right? So I love that you mentioned the brunch pitch. Chap, I got like you are the best wingman. I am so bad at like bringing up the stuff about me. Like it feels so
You're the
like the
shit.
humble don't stumble. So sis just
If
gotta
y'all
like
don't
wait
know,
for somebody
Laquita
else to
Fancy
say
is the shit.
something.
She is the shit.
You so funny. I love you. I love you. Thank you. But I need to get y'all involved in the brunch pitch. Like I'm like you need to be some of the technical support services. Like the people need to know. The brunch pitch is going to have to figure out the virtual way because Aja is in Dallas, and I mean I know you be
And we
traveling and
we want
stuff.
we want money to give away, not just coaching and goals and goal setting, right? We want to give people
Right,
money too. Yeah.
right. Listen, a story was done on the brunch pitch, y'all, and it it was a Black women's brunch pitch for Black women in real estate. That's
Are we
not
allowed to
the
show it?
narrative.
Are we allowed to
I don't
show
want
it?
to show it.
Okay.
No, we're not showing it because I don't. Nope,
Okay.
not today.
Okay.
But after I chop it and screw it and put it on Small Tomorrow's YouTube page, we're gonna run it back. So in the meantime, though, I love that you brought that up. Thank you, Chapo. I love you and I appreciate you. And Dom, we're gonna get into your answers, but the idea of connecting you all and it's a bunch of people tuned in. So if you all have questions that you would want to ask our subject matter experts, put them in the comments. Like we're here live for another 25 minutes, y'all. Like get the free knowledge while you can. They're dropping gems. So now, Dom, if somebody was like, you know what, I love this idea of virtual assistants. How could I do something like that? Or how do I work with you? Like, can I teach with you? Can I reach with you? Can I roll with you? How does that start? Give me the rundown.
Yeah, so you know what? I'll put it in like 3 points, right? If someone wants to get into the space of being a virtual assistant, I mean, there's more than enough work, y'all. So I'm never like gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna tell you this. Yeah, holding it. No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. So there are 3 things I will say. If you are working right now, look at everything you're doing in your current job. What are you doing every day? What skills have you gained over the years? I would take inventory of that stuff and then really start to think about, okay, what do I actually like to do? And what you can then do is package, or you can even start small. Let's say you like, okay, you know what? I actually like sending emails. So maybe you start with, email management and sending emails on behalf of clients. And then you could come up with some packaging and things like that and pricing. So really doing kind of an inventory audit of what you can do today, right? The next thing I would do is then I would get inside of a community where you can continue to grow. And community is important because there is so much that's happening that's changing, especially because we work in technology. And what you don't want to do as a virtual assistant is say, well, I could do what was a 90s like word processing system that's not around anymore, like
Some Windows 97.
yeah. I could write you. I could write a document there. It's like we don't use that anymore. So please do yourself a favor and get in a community where you are continuing to learn and grow. And the other thing I would say is really important to check your motives, because when you are in a space of virtual assistance, you are of service to other people. And so if you are not checking your motives and your reasons for doing it are just for money, when you work with people, they can smell it, they can feel it, and you'll get irritated with doing things like, right, because you'll have I have a lot of clients, and some of them I love because they're like, hey, I got this. I'm like, I got it. But somebody that doesn't have that service kind of like in their heart, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I got another thing to do. And so check your motives. Make sure you are operating from a place of service to other people. So those are the three things that I would say you would want to do. It's really easy to get in to this business. Now, if you would like to work with me, my website is itstimetoleap.com. And
Pull
so
up
all of
the
my
thing, chat. Sorry, go ahead, Don.
it's in the chat. Okay. So it's timetoleap.com is my email. I'm sorry, my website. What you see on your screen right now is an offer that I have. It's my new ebook, and it's 5 signs you're burned out in your business. And even if you don't own a business yet, we're going to speak it into existence, y'all. If you don't own a business yet and just in business, if you work in a business, I've come up with 5 signs that you are burned out in your business. And so it looks like we have it on the screen here. I'm not sure if the link is in the chat, but head over to my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. It's Leap Strategic Partners on IG. In the link tree, there is a link for this ebook, because what I don't want to happen is for you all that are in your businesses to experience some of the things that I experience in corporate America, right? It is don't get there, because you got a calling on you that you got to serve people. So before we even get to the point where you're like, you know what, forget this business, get me back in the W-2. And I'm not knocking anybody who's working a W-2 job, get your money, do your thing. But if you have a calling on your life to serve people and create that business, then make sure you line up the resources, and I can be a resource and of service to you. What the process looks like, it's really easy. I don't make things difficult. So I'm process oriented. So we would have a free consultation. We would talk through what your needs are. If you're like, hey, you know what? I don't even know what I need. I don't know what I need. That's okay. I am going to be coming out with a calculator, a time management calculator, so you can figure out where you're spending your time in the business so that you can properly outsource things that you're working on. But in the meantime, I would say, go ahead and book me for a free consultation. And I am really good about getting on the call, and I'm going to let you talk. And then it'll come out naturally. It'll come out naturally where we'll be able to figure out where you can outsource. And then what happens if you decide to work with me, we would then come up with an agreement, and then we would move forward, and bam, let me tell you, I'm in there instantly. My clients, if they're on this call, will be able to tell you, Dom is like, she's on fire. She will get in there and she is instantly working. So if you decide to move forward working with me, I'm in there, we're figuring it out, and we'll see your business grow and expand in the way that you have it in your mind.
I love that. I love that. You're like, I'm not going to rewrite the script. I'm going to support you, right? Because sometimes we tell people our vision. I know with me, people are like, oh, you want to do homes for who and where? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, have you thought about No, I haven't because this is what I'm doing and I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. So meet me at Lake Montebello Sundays at 9:30 and we can keep chatting, okay? Chap, what were you gonna say? I saw you come off mute. Are you back on mute? Uh-oh.
How about now? Okay. So no, I was
Gotcha.
I was encouraged. I just want to amplify the thought of check your motives, right? Being genuine. Um, we're grown adults, and we can, like you said, you can just tell when someone's like calculating the angle of how to make money, or what's the angle. But when you're genuinely there to serve, you're not, your mind isn't in that space, but you're like paying attention, you're listening. You know what I mean? So I think that I just wanted to comment on that, like just be genuine, because really for me that, like, I probably, I'll be honest with you guys, like in the last decade or more, I think I've made like $10,000 a year, and my wife really holds down the house working at Hopkins. It's very stressful for her. Um, but in that long run of being in the community and being, just networking genuinely, and having a wife who's able to anchor me where I can do that, and seeing that come to fruition now, where I'm getting jobs that are offering like $400 an hour. Like, what? And then it's not every day. It's not 40 hours a week, but like having those opportunities finally come through, is because I wasn't trying to figure out how to make that kind of money. Those opportunities are coming because I was genuine in my efforts in the first place. So I just wanted to comment on how important it is and how invaluable it is, right? Because when someone is genuine and reliable, um, I often tell people, when I tell the kids, like when we do little mock interviews at like Patterson or different high schools, I always tell them to remember, like, your time is valuable. You got a budget of time, and whoever's interviewing you for a job, they really can't afford you. If you want to put a number on it, tell them you're worth $1 million an hour, because they can't afford you. So kind of giving the kids leverage at 16, 18 in an interview, like the leverage is, you can't afford me, but what are you working with? Because we'll see if we can come to a compromise. So just being genuine
A
though
little
is
baby
really,
budget.
yeah, but I just wanted to comment on that genuineness. Honestly, yeah, not everybody gets that.
Yeah, I mean, but you can't show up to community trying to expect a transactional relationship. Like that's not how we show up. It is very much, how can we support one another? What do we do so that you're thriving, not surviving? Like, don't nobody want to be struggling all day one day, and we don't want to put you in debt or anything like that, but how do we, elevate the whole community at the same time? So I just love it. I just love y'all. All right,
Laquita,
so
you
I
mind if I add something else?
yeah, go
An
for it.
additional
Please.
thing. I really want to stress, do not come out the gate wanting to do everything by yourself, which is why you have organizations like Dominique's with the virtual assistants. Um, Folks, you cannot do it all by yourself. You shouldn't want to do it all by yourself. And that being said, a lot of times folks will get intimidated by my organization, right? In anticipating the cost structure, when in fact, what I'm wanting them to do is I want you to come to me and express, this is where we are. Be honest about that, because we want to work with you within that. But sometimes I don't, we don't really get that over our initial phone calls, and I think it's because there's an initial intimidation, but also there is a view that consultants, for example, they withhold information, and some do. That's certainly true in a lot of cases. But I am instinctively here to help my community, Black and Brown owned businesses, get to the next level, right? Advance on an ongoing basis. And so, saying that to say, we want you to be open and transparent about it. Scope out the people who actually care about what it is that you do, because they're going to put their full self into whatever it is that they're doing for you. Price aside, so before approaching this, if you're just starting the business, if you're growing the business, whatever it is, always think back to community. Who do I have in my closest network and beyond that I can lean on? And I say that specifically to Black women, because we love to take on things by ourselves. Stop it. Cut it out. Leverage your community, leverage your resources, and again, think in those innovative terms. Everything is an opportunity for innovation. So that's all I wanted to say.
I love that you said, Black women, listen, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you because it's us. It be us. It be us. Like somebody is like, how can I help you? And we don't even have the capacity to sit back and think about how people can help us. So it's like, I don't know. It takes too much for me to sit down and talk to you and have well, that's a problem. Like, don't you think that's a problem? I remember when somebody suggested that I meditate, and I was like, I don't have time to meditate. They was like, oh, then you need to meditate for 30 minutes. And I was like, what? I just told you I can't meditate for 5, and you told me I need to meditate for 30. And now that I have the time to sit back, reflect, and think, it's like, damn, they were right. Like, we should absolutely have 30 minutes at some point of the day where we can just
Well,
sit and be with ourselves.
how
Go
much
ahead,
does it
Chapo.
cost? How much does it cost to meditate?
Right. And it's free 99, right? Yes. See? And it's free 99, right? Like, come on. Yeah. So thank you for that plug. Like, we really need to work on the self care and, pouring into one another. And to your point, people do not trust consultants, but at some point, you have to share the vision with other people. Like, if everybody, you're not taking all the visions that people are sharing with you. Like, people have to understand that that's not what we're here for. You know what I mean? Like, it's really to build the bridges, fill in the gap, and make the building and the elevation happen. Chap, did you have any questions or follow up? I want to go back to Dom's freebie, not right now, but
Oh
before
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah. The
go
free
off,
book.
I
Yep.
wanted to go ahead.
I just want to comment that I think Aja hit it on the head. Um, as a client or potential client, it's intimidating reaching out to a consultant because I'm on social media. It's how I get a lot of my jobs for like submissions for films and stuff. I kind of stay on social media and emails and in the digital space. And you get the breath beat out of you with consultation this, consultation that. Like, hey, do you want to be a better actor? Hey, do you want to be on TED Talks? Hey, do you like all these people want to consult you and all these they do really good marketing and it looks good and you get these little free hooks and then you do the free hook and then it's they just immediately hit you with packages and money and it's like you get a bad taste in your mouth. You get a little chip on your shoulder, and then when you hear when you have genuine people who want to come help and help you grow and thrive, um, it's just another it's just another to me it's just another scam. Not another scam, but it's just another person trying to get in my pocket to take money that I don't have. And so you know, it's funny because like there's been times where something has looked good and I fill it out, and then like part of the survey for like a Google Doc they send you is well, how much do you make or how much would you spend or can you afford? And I'm always like 0, 0, 0. Like I don't make no money. I don't have nothing to spend on this. But if we make money, if I make, on the flip side, and I know that you guys understand this as consultants, but like to these people who are just bombarding you on the internet, like you don't know me, but trust me, if I'm making money, like we making money because that's my heart. That's what I do. Like my wife again. I always refer to my wife because she's a financial like guru. She's a genius, and I'm the dummy that gives all the money away. And but she manages it. And she manages me in a way. We have a good relationship where I'm glad we're mismatched because um I'll just say that. And I said it on Mark Clark's show. That was like the first thing I said was like, I'm so glad to be like financially mismatched with my wife because I'm like Kung Fu the Legend continues. I got a stick and a robe and food in my mouth and I'm good. I'll wander the earth, right? If I get money, I give it away. But my wife is like, no, we have to pay bills, dummy. And maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but no, we're mismatched well, and it is intimidating, and people miss out on what you guys have to offer because they won't take that leap, right? They won't take that leap to find out. And maybe they've taken that leap with the wrong person, right? So now you're dealing with that trauma that you kind of have to unpack or get through before you can even start with them building a relationship with your company. So maybe consider that as well, is that we are traumatized by fraudulent or greedy consultants, and we want to thrive, and we need what you have. Dom, I'll tell you, when we're doing the Power Fest stuff, one of the greatest things there was a young lady named Felicia Jones who was in Chicago. She was a gamer friend of mine. I knew her from the digital world here, and she came alongside and was at the time, she had time to be my virtual assistant, like you're offering, right? And when I tell you guys that me running around the city doing my little crazy ADD, like modus operandi, um, what I would do in 40, 60, 80 hours in 1 week, she consolidated my time and I was getting everything I was doing in like a 100-hour week. I was getting that done in 1 day, a day and a half. And then I was looking at like 3 days of having nothing to do, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, I don't even know how to live like this. I didn't know what to do with my time, right? But it was because Felicia came alongside me. She organized, using the digital, using technology, using digital stuff, using email, saying, hey, every day I had a list of like, email these people. Okay, you got this meeting at this time. Okay, do this, do this, do this, and she'd virtually assist me. Right. And so she wrangled my 100 hours a week into like 10, 12. So there's so much value there that I can't even begin to tell you, how much value you guys have, or begin to tell your potential clients, just take the leap of faith. Don't worry about the last person did. It's like a relationship, right? It's like a new partner. Take them on, give them a chance to show you what they can do, guys, because it is invaluable the amount of time they will save you, and the potential for growth.
Go ahead, Don.
And and what I'll say to that, because I have had clients who were jaded, who had really, really bad experiences, or people who overpromised and underdelivered. What you have to look for in a virtual assistant is someone who is going to be understanding of that. Someone who knows that you may have come from a not so good situation. And so for my clients that have gone through something like that, for me, it is really important to, one, over communicate about anything we're doing. For me, I use a project management system to outline like things that I'm working on. So maybe you don't want to ask questions like, oh, Don, what are you doing? Like, no, oh no, we're going to make this very clear. And then we have weekly calls. And so I also make it a very good point to show ROI immediately. What are the quick wins? What is something that we can accomplish immediately, so that you know that like, I got you. I got you. And when you are interviewing virtual assistants, let that interview go both ways. Let them ask you questions and you ask them questions. Don't let the questions just go one-sided. Like, it has to be, you have to feel each other out to see if it's going to be a good fit, because you are going to be working together in a very intimate space. And as a business owner, I will say this: don't be afraid to allow yourself to be vulnerable, because just because it didn't go well before, right? How many of us have been in relationships before? Oh, you don't even want to go there, right? It's like, oh, I don't even want to think about that ex. But then you met the love of your life. You met your new boo, and it's working out pretty good, right? It's working good. You got to a point. So being able to trust again and be able to be vulnerable about your needs.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Chapo. So it looks like we have about 5 to 7 minutes left. So we showed Dom's freebie. Aja, we know how to get in touch with you. Do you all do any virtual workshops, or I know you said you do one-on-one consulting and such. Do you do anything like in a group setting, or does that get like too weird and complicated?
Yes, we do provide workshop series and brand strategy. Well, they're usually geared toward the individual. So we call them committed entrepreneurs. But we also can develop that for enterprises, for respective departments and for their employees. But so brand strategy workshops and digital strategy workshops. It can get a little convoluted, but when we say digital strategy, it's usually high level and like the foundational aspects of what that might look like. Just because it doesn't matter the organization. And actually, let me say this very clearly for everyone who's listening or who will watch in the future for the recording. Digital strategy, digital transformation, these two words you hear quite often, it's always going to look very different for every organization, folks, okay? just know that up front. So if you hear something that sounds, trendy or fun or cool from a competitor, that's awesome. But how that might look like for your organization is going to be very different. So just something to keep in mind. That being said, yeah, we do provide those virtual workshops. We are a remote in action consulting firm, so everything I do is remote. We do fly in, but those are usually for our mid-level clients, with the who are will want to pay for that. But
No, girl, ain't nobody flued out. Like, like, let me find out you getting flued out. That's why we can spend 2 weeks in Thailand. Okay, I see. Go ahead and finish. I'm going back.
no. It's available remote, folks. Okay.
All right. And what about you, Dom? Do you do anything in a group setting? And really, I'm asking about this because I know that people are hesitant to reach out to consultants. And this way is a way to get your toe wet, hear how you work with folks. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I do. I offer group. I can offer group coaching. I can offer group trainings. I think it's a great opportunity, one, to kind of pick my brain a little bit more. So I'm happy to partner with organizations, and we could go over a variety of topics, right? So if it's, hey, I really don't know how to structure this email marketing campaign, organizations can bring me in. If it's like, okay, well, how do I use LinkedIn for my business? Because I see people using it, but I don't know how to. So I'm able to provide training on that as well. Yes.
Awesome. All right, folks. So you know how to get in touch with my people. We're definitely going to have you guys back very soon to see what is going on for the summer. And I'm trying to think, is there any dope women things coming up? We'll figure something out. We might do something virtual together, digitize some something. But yeah, thank you for coming on and blessing the folks with all the information. I'm going to wrap up because we have a few moments left. I want to remind folks to come out to Lake Montebello at 9:30 for Project Healthy Communities. We're going to be out there walking with a doctor, some mindfulness, some movement. We know about the sinkhole. Everybody want to tell us about the sinkhole like we're going to accidentally fall in. We're not. We're going to see it. We're going to avoid it. 9:30, and we walk promptly at 10. Okay, so if you get there at 10, we're not waiting. You're going to have to catch up. And yeah, that's it. Chap, do you have any closing remarks for the people?
Yes, for the free book offer, I also put the link in the chat, or you can just reach out to our guests. It's Time to Leap or Leap Strategic Partners on IG, and Dom will get you connected with the book. I think that's it. Hopefully you guys. I'll tell you what, man. You guys got to come to the next pitch contest again. Just a way to introduce your services in a safe and genuine space to potential clients, and honestly, entrepreneurs that may need you and they didn't even know they needed you. So we make really good connections there, and I just hopefully I can see you guys at the next one that Quida puts together.
Yes, I mean, because we don't know what we don't know. Go ahead, Dom. I see you.
Nope. I was going to say I'd love to send the information. I'm there.
Right.
That's what I like to hear.
You guys know where to find them. The next brunch pitch.
Yes, and it'll have to be virtual. I mean, because we ain't flying nobody out. I'm sorry, Miss Sasha. That's not what I'm on today. One day, someday, but I love messing with y'all. So, all right, y'all. Thanks for coming out. God bless. Good night. We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. See you at the lake.